Welcome to the MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment. The legal tampering period of the NFL offseason is here, and it's been a little quiet for normal standards, but there is some news that I want to discuss, so let's discuss that on the eve of free agency officially beginning March 9. I want to say 4 p.m. Eastern. Let's start with the big news, and that is Tony Romo finally being released by the Dallas Cowboys should come as no shock to anyone except for Skip Bayless, who for some reason for the last number of weeks and months has been saying, oh, Jerry Jones won't do it, Jerry Jones won't do it. Why? I don't know. Because sometimes Skip likes to go off of his own intuition instead of what everyone else is hearing and believing and clearly seeing that Tony Romo was always going to be released. Unless if the off chance someone would actually trade for him, and with his ridiculous contract, that really wasn't going to happen. And see, this is the thing about his contract that I want to talk about just a little bit. Be careful when it comes to restructuring contracts, because it sounds great, right? We're going to restructure, we're going to open up cap room, it's going to be great. The Cowboys did that 1 or 2 times with this Romo deal. I want to say, and I could be wrong, they did it in like 2014 or in 2015. But what happens is you keep pushing back that guaranteed money to where now Tony Romo is going to cost $10 million of dead money this year and next year, roughly, for the Dallas Cowboys salary cap, okay? So whenever you hear, hey, this player restructured, it's good. Yeah, it can be, but don't do it with a guy that's going to be 37, 38 years old, and now all that guaranteed money you kept pushing back near the end of the contract, and now you have a lot of dead money near the end of the contract for a guy that you're going to release. So they did create some cap space here. They're going to have $14 million in cap space created and opened here, but they won't be able to use it until June 2nd because they designated Tony Romo as a post-June 1 cut. By then, free agency will be over, and they won't be able to reap the benefits until maybe if they do a trade in the summer, but really probably not until next year. So just something to look out for in the future. So where is he going to go? Personally, I think he's on a one-way ticket to Denver. Okay, I think that's where he's going. I think he's going to be, Tony Romo will be a Denver Bronco next season. Perhaps the Houston Texans can outbid the Broncos, but I doubt it because the Texans are currently dedicating way too much money to the quarterback position in form of Brock Osweiler. I just don't understand how you can justify paying Brock Osweiler $18 million and paying Tony Romo probably like $18 million. Okay, so I just don't understand how you can justify that, dedicating $36 million to 2 quarterbacks, having J.J. Watt's ridiculous contract, deserve it, but ridiculous contract, it's a lot of money, having Brian Cushing's contract, a lot of money, having a lot of players like Jonathan Joseph, like a bunch of players that they have on this Texas team, Dwayne Brown. There's a lot of veterans on this football team, Lamar Miller, dedicating a lot of money. So I don't think he can afford to do that. I think they're going to lose this bidding war easily. He's going to go to Denver to me. I'm not sure if he really wants to go to Houston. Maybe he really wants to stay in Texas. Maybe he wants to raise his kids there with his hot wife. I don't know. But I think he's going to Denver. Chicago, I would be interested in. Personally, if I'm Chicago, you know, personally, I look at the Chicago roster. I think it's actually pretty good. I know no one understands my infatuation with their roster, but I look up and down the roster. I know their wide receivers aren't very good, and their offensive line and their quarterback aren't very good. But I look at their running back, I say he's pretty good. I look at their defensive line, he's pretty good. Linebackers, pretty good. Secondary needs work. I think there's something to work with there. I wouldn't be shocked if the Bears signed Tony Romo and they made a playoff push this season, but it would only be a 1-season playoff push. I don't think that would be worth it, so I wouldn't do it. But for the Broncos, for the Texans, this is something where you can look at those teams and say, if they sign Tony Romo, they could compete for a Super Bowl. So that's why you're doing it, because it's going to be a 1 or 2 at max 3-year thing with Romo, and he's finished, right? And overall, I might take that risk if I'm the Broncos or the Texans, because you don't have much to lose. With the Broncos, the thing is, if Romo gets injured, boom, you put in Trevor Siemian or Paxton Lynch, and you really haven't changed anything. Yes, you have kind of changed your offense to Tony Romo's passing style, but it's not too dissimilar to Trevor Siemian or Paxton Lynch, honestly, to me. I mean, I don't think that's a big problem. For the Texans, Romo and Osweiler do have some differences, but I think Romo is actually a better fit for that Bill O'Brien offense than Brock Osweiler is. So I don't think it's a big problem. I think, sure, go for it, swing for the fences. Let's see if we can compete with New England for 1 year, but continue to mold your quarterbacks. The problem is right now for the Texans, they don't have a quarterback to mold. Can we please stop talking about Tom Savage? My God, he stinks. Can we please stop talking about Tom Savage? So the Texans, why don't you still take, sign Tony Romo if you can, but then still take a quarterback in the first, second, third round. Mold somebody. Somebody needs to begin to be molded to be the next franchise quarterback for the Houston Texans. But if you want to sign Tony Romo, give it a 1 year swing. I'm down for it. The money to me doesn't really matter as long as you fit him in there. Okay, the contract cannot be over 3 years. In fact, for me, I'd make it 2 years. I'd do 2 years, $40 million. Honestly, let's fit him in there and let's see what we can do because this guy can play. He's been terrific the past number of years. I thought he was the MVP, the deserving MVP a couple years ago. He didn't win it because DeMarco Murray did have 1,800 yards and whatnot, but I thought Romo played fantastic, and he won a lot of games for that football team late in the fourth quarter, but whatever. So, Tony Romo, we'll see where he goes. Let's move on to Brandon Marshall, signing with the New York Giants. Brandon Marshall, formerly of the New York Jets, is staying in New York, signing a 2-year, $12 million deal with the New York Giants. How do I feel about this? Now, I like it more than some people do, but I understand the flaws with this deal. Well, the money isn't bad, okay? 2 years, $12 million, I think that's perfect for his market value, but how will he and Odell Beckham coexist in the same locker room? These two are a couple of divas, okay? The only difference is one of them's like 23 and one of them's like 33, okay? So that's the problem there. Brandon Marshall can't grow up. I think what we're going to see here is they're going to be great for 1 year. I think this next year in 2017, they're going to be great. Marshall's going to have like over 900 yards. Odell Beckham will have his usual 12 or 1,300. It'll be great. Perhaps the Giants make the playoffs, perhaps they don't, but it'll be great. And then next year, it'll be a damn disaster, as every final year for Brandon Marshall is, but I think that one will actually probably be his final, okay? Because he is nearing the end of his career, and I think teams just are kind of getting sick of his crap. Personally, if I was the Giants, I probably wouldn't have done this, though. Sterling Shepard was not great his rookie season, okay? He was the number 2 wide receiver for the Giants last year. He had about 600 receiving yards, whatnot. I think he can improve, though. I still see some things from him. I would have preferred to have gone for maybe like a lower-tier free agent wide receiver and like Kendall Wright, or formerly of the Tennessee Titans, or something like that, and then watching Sterling Shepard improve and develop, and then really in the draft, find a tight end like a David Njoku or O.J. Howard, God forbid he falls, Bucky Hodges in the second round, Jordan Leggett in the third round, and build the offense that way. But if they want to do this, I get it. It's going to be nice this year. 2016, it'll be nice. My problem is, how will it look in 2018? I think in 2018, if they start losing some games, this will turn into a volatile situation, and you will see big problems yet again with Brandon Marshall in the locker room. It wouldn't shock me at all if he and Odell threw heads, okay? And somebody get the tape of that, because I'd love to see that. We move on to the New England Patriots that I want to discuss a little bit. Today, the Patriots traded for Dwyane Allen, the tight end of the Indianapolis Colts. The Patriots giving up a 4th-round pick, and the Colts giving the Patriots Dwyane Allen and a 6th-round pick. And I know that, God forbid, anyone criticize the New England Patriots, right? They are owned and headed by God himself and Bill Belichick, in Jesus, in Tom Brady. Maybe God is Robert Kraft, actually. I don't know. I don't know the dichotomy of these deities, okay? Or these deities, however you want to pronounce it. But they're just so sacred, man. How dare we criticize them? I don't know what the Patriots are doing here. Dwyane Allen stinks, okay? The Colts have been begging him to be good for 5 years. He hasn't been, with Andrew Luck. And you can say, well, the Colts, they don't know how to use anybody. They're not very good. I see T.Y. Hilton there doing things, having success. Jack Doyle came in there, had success this year. I think Dwyane Allen isn't very good. He's a good blocker. He's actually a pretty damn good blocker, but his hands are pretty terrible, honestly. On a consistent basis, he's dropping things. and his route running needs work. The Patriots, I remember a couple years ago, they traded for Timothy Wright of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and a lot of people thought, oh, he's going to do well, and he really didn't do well. Same goes with like Scott Chandler. Don't think that just because they're a tight end and they're signing with the Patriots, oh, okay, they're going to do well. We've seen Scott Chandler. We've seen Timothy Wright go there and not do anything. So I think that's what's going to happen here. I could be wrong. Maybe he comes out here, he does well. I think he'll be okay. He'll probably have another 400 or 500 yard season, but giving up a 4th round pick, especially in this draft, you want to give up a 4th round pick in this draft? I don't understand that, because you can pick a tight end like Jordan Leggett in the 4th round, like George Kittle from Iowa in the 4th round, and you could end up, I think you'll probably end up with a better tight end than your boy that you just drafted or just traded for, Dwyane Allen. I don't understand this draft by the New England Patriots, and furthermore, I don't understand what they're doing right now as they head into free agency. I understand letting go of LeGarrette Blount. Okay, he's not great. He's never been great. I understand letting go of Martellus Bennett. I thought his year last year was overrated. I don't think he was great last year. I don't understand letting go of Dont'a Hightower. I don't understand letting go of Logan Ryan. These are 2 defenders, Logan Ryan being a cornerback, Dont'a Hightower being a linebacker, that have been very good for you the past number of years, been very consistently playing at a pretty good level, and have helped you win a Super Bowl. Are you going to replace them easily? I don't know. I know you have Cyrus Jones, who you drafted in the 2nd round last year, the defensive back out of Alabama, waiting in the wings. You also have Eric Rowe, who you got from the Philadelphia Eagles. So, yes, you have cornerback depth, but I think you should reward Logan Ryan for playing well the last couple of years as Dont'a Hightower. And the Patriots have a lot of cap room right now. They're over $50 million in cap. I don't know why they're not re-signing these men that have played well for them over the years. I understand they know what they're doing. They won the Super Bowl this year. But to me, I don't see this right now. If they let these guys go, how is this roster going to improve next year? Because the Patriots probably won't be big spenders in free agency. They're going to have to draft well, and they normally do. But will those draft picks come in and do more than Logan Ryan and Dont'a Hightower? I don't think so. I think the Patriots up here are starting to move down a little bit, and then can the Steelers, can the Chiefs, can the Raiders then come up a little bit? We'll see as this process continues, but I think this is something to watch. We move on to the San Francisco 49ers. We made a number of moves today. Let's start with Pierre Garcon. Okay, the 49ers have reached an agreement with Pierre Garcon with a contract that the terms of which have not been released, but they will be lucrative. Okay, we're talking over reportedly over $16 million the first year of the contract, which is way too much money. But this is where I will defend the 49ers, because, man, their roster stinks. Okay, it's by far, to me, one of the worst rosters in the NFL. Is right there with the Cleveland Browns, and I would argue, yeah, it's about the Cleveland Browns. I was going to say worse, but I can't say worse because, man, the Browns stink too. But those two are far and away the worst 2 rosters in the NFL. The Bears are way better. The Jaguars are way better. The Rams are slightly better, but better. Okay? Those 2 stink. So the 49ers, they need to make moves. So they're making moves. Good. Okay, Pierre Garcon is a guy that has plenty of production the past number of seasons, but if you think he's going to come in here and be a very good number 1, you will be wrong on that. However, he will be better than Torrey Smith was, okay, because that was always a bad deal. I think we will look back upon this deal, upon this Pierre Garcon deal, and say it was too much money. We will. But at the same time, we need to realize that the only way the 49ers will be able to sign anybody is if they overpay, and they need to get to a point where their roster is at least bad, okay, instead of just awful, because they're right now, they're awful. They need to get to the bad area. This deal will help them get there. I know that's ridiculous to say, but if you think about it, you'll understand what I'm saying. So that's fine. We look at this Marquise Goodwin, who they apparently signed as well. Again, I said in my 49ers season recap, you need to get to a point where Jeremy Curley isn't your best receiver. He's your 4th or 5th, okay? And this gets you closer to that point, although I do think Curley could beat out Goodwin in training camp. It wouldn't shock me if the vice versa happens. So we have competition building up. Wow! We look at another deal. Kyle Juszczyk, the fullback of the Baltimore Ravens, reportedly will sign with the San Francisco 49ers. It's a fullback, not a big deal, but It's a nice deal. We have one more deal, and that is a quarterback, Brian Hoyer, being signed by the San Francisco 49ers. And, you know, I get it. They're looking for a bridge quarterback that can come in there, bridge the gap between himself and the new quarterback, and really the last quarterback in Colin Kaepernick. Man, the 49ers. Do I like the deal? I don't know how much money it is. Again, we're just going off early indications here, but I get it. It's fine. You got to make sure you draft the right kid. I mean, that's what we're talking about. There's a clear move saying, okay, we're just finding a bridge guy. Okay, that's fine. You better get the right guy to bridge to. Okay, you better get the right guy to bridge to. It better be Mitchell Trubisky or Deshaun Watson. I don't care who it is, actually. But whoever it is, it's got to be a young guy. I think it now has to be in this draft. I do really like this 2018 draft quarterbacks. And I know we say this every year. Actually, y'all do it. I don't say this every year. Coming into this year, I never bought this Brad Kaya, Deshaun Watson nonsense. I never bought it. Next year, I do buy next year's quarterbacks. I think Sam Darnold is going to be good. I think Josh Rosen is going to be good. I think Jake Browning's overrated. And I think, what's the other guy's name? I can't remember right now, but I think there's one other guy, Josh Allen, who I'm intrigued by. So, the 49ers, to me, heading into this free agency, it was possible that they could just take a couple guys in the draft, find a guy like Jay Cutler, roll into this year, and then not take anybody in this draft at all, right? And just say, let's see what we can do. Let's wait for 2018. Now, to me, this clearly says we're taking somebody high in this 2017 NFL draft. And to me, that's fine. Would I do it? Honestly, no. I love situations like this for the 49ers. You have a first-year quarterback, first-year GM. Let's just tank. You know, we can sign some players. We can get a bad quarterback like Brian Hoyer. I don't believe in these 2017 NFL draft quarterbacks very much. Let's just, you know, build a roster, start to get the building blocks, the pieces in there, and then we don't have to force a quarterback this year, because if we do, let's say we take Mr. Trubisky, right, in the second round. Let's say he plays 8 games. He gets, let's say, 10 touchdowns. Probably that's a little too high. Let's say he gets 9 touchdowns to 8 interceptions, right? Then you're back in the top 5 next year, and you have Josh Rosen available. You have maybe, God forbid, but possibly Sam Darnold available. And you like these guys, but you can't take them now because you have Mr. Trubisky. You know, so I would have preferred to wait till next year, but to me, this is a clear indication that the 49ers will be taking quarterback high in 2017 in the first round or second round. We'll see how that works out. But now you've hitched your wagon to this 2017 NFL draft class, and we'll see how it works out for you. And then one more little deal I want to discuss. The Detroit Lions signed Ricky Wagner, the offensive tackle of the Baltimore Ravens. A great deal. Okay, I don't know what the deal is. I don't really care. The Lions need to replace Riley Reef at tackle, and they do so here. The Lions have been working on their offensive line for a number of years now. They drafted Logan Tomlinson in the first round. He's been pretty terrible. They drafted Taylor Decker last year. He's actually been pretty good, though. So there's hope there, but they're letting go of Larry Warford in free agency. I don't understand that. He's been one of your better players to me. Why are you letting him go? So this offensive line continues to be in flux, but now there are signs of it finally stabilizing. I just really doubt that Logan Tomlinson will prove to be a good guard in the NFL, even a starting guard in the NFL. But if the offensive line of the Lions, if they can solidify that, finally get a running back there that they believe in, could be out there consistently, possibly drafting Alvin Kamara in the first round this year, possibly drafting Christian McCaffrey in the first round this year, second round maybe looking at a Joe Mixon. I think this Lions team, don't be surprised if they end up doing something in 2017, making the playoffs yet again, and maybe being a little bit of a contender, because to me their roster isn't too far away, but they definitely have some issues that they need to fix, and I think Ricky Wagner gets them a little closer to where they need to be. So there you go. Those are my thoughts on the tampering period of the NFL offseason. What are your thoughts? Comment down below. I want to know. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, to subscribe. And until next time, this has been the MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. Peace.